Hello ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? So in this video I'm going to walk you through the steps that one of our clients is taking from him to go from a 0 to a 54k a month coaching business. And I think this was within a span of 4 months, I would say 4 months, 4 or 5 months. So in this video I'm going to walk you through everything, and I'm going to show you the exact steps that you can take to apply into your coaching business as well too, because at the end of the day, the ones that are profitable, they're all very similar. They all work the same way. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what these principles are. And I promise you, if you implement all of these principles correctly into your business, there's no reason why you're not going to be able to scale from where you are right now to where you currently want to be. Even if that's 20, 30, 40, 50, 50K, even the ones that are 100K follow these principles. I'm going to show you exactly how that's going to go. And I'm going to use obviously the proof that we've been able to do one of our clients as evidence that this is what actually works and this is what you can actually implement. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So just to give you some proof and some context, this is the client Hassan, and he was actually able to scale his coaching business, which is helping people, go from the 9 to 5 or like their regular jobs, train them up as closers, and basically help them get placed into companies essentially. So it's a really unique offer. There isn't a lot of people that are doing it to the level that he's doing, as been able to scale it tremendously. So I'm going to show you all of the steps that you need to implement in order to help your coaching business, get to where you want it to be. And I would say there's 9 steps. Like, some people say there's more, some people say there's less, and I'm not the first person to come up with this. I'm just going to obviously present it in the way that we've used it and the way that we've used it into our clients' businesses, and obviously what we do to help them scale even further. So I'm going to reference obviously what we've been able to do for Hassan, and also what we've been able to do for other clients as well too. So let's jump right into it. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Mahiz. I basically help coaching business scale, and we do this organically with content and setters. More about that later, but let's just jump right into the value. So the first step that you have to take if you want to scale any sort of coaching business, the first thing you have to focus on is the market you serve, and there's the market and the problem you are serving. Okay, if you're not serving a problem, there's no point of doing this in the first place. So what I mean by this is you need to have an audience, or you need to have some sort of section that you can market to that has a problem that you can solve for a high ticket. So this is why it's high ticket coaching, because like if you don't have something and if you're targeting people that don't really have a lot of buying power, then it's not really going to work well for you. So if you have an audience of, let's say, around 5,000 to 10,000 people in, let's say, the education niche of you're teaching people, e-commerce, you're teaching people how to, even like music, for example, music coaching, you're teaching people how to get good at fitness, you're teaching people sales, you're teaching people maybe you're teaching people how to golf. Like you can actually make quite a bit of money doing this type of stuff. So that's just right there. And what we did for Hassan to figure out what he was is that he was in a market of people that just wanted to learn more about sales. Like, he had obviously accumulated a following by posting some of his content while he was still working in the company, and then he built it up, and now he had people that he could basically reach out to organically. I think even in the first month when they did everything organically, it was around 30 grand. I'm not too sure, but which is crazy, by the way. So you need to have a market, you need to figure out the problem. If you don't know how to figure out what problem that you can solve for your market, I made an in-depth video. I'll probably put it on the top right that talks about market research and how you can craft really good offers. Please check it out. It's one of my favorite videos I made, and it gives you a lot of context into creating good offers. So that's the first thing you do. You make an offer, but obviously you find a market that has a problem and you figure out what that problem is. Okay, then step 2. So this is the offer and the big claim. So essentially what this is now that you've got the market, the people that you're actually selling the thing to, you need a thing that you're actually selling. So this is where your offer comes in. And for Hassan, I think it was guaranteed placement in 4 months, or if it doesn't work, you get your money back. So it's a very bold claim, very big claim, and it worked extremely well because he was in pretty much, I won't say super saturated niche, but a niche that there is a lot of competition. And if you don't have something that stands out compared to everyone else, you're gonna get eaten alive essentially. So especially without guarantee, there are some coaches that you might not really need this because you have really unique offers. But like I said, it just depends on your market sophistication levels. And if you really want to figure that out, watch that video. It's gonna be linked in the description. It will give you context on how to actually create your offers. So once you have that, you have to go to the next step. And keep in mind that, by the way, as you're watching this, everything follows chronological order. What I mean by that is, if you don't do one of these things correctly, everything else is going to be subpar. So the market pretty much is at the head of everything. So everything else that you don't do correctly is going to flop if you don't do it properly. So that's that one. Now the third step is the funnel that you're sending all of the market traffic to. So what I mean by funnel is not the click funnel stuff that with the websites or anything like that. They are funnels, but what I mean by this is, where are you sending the market to? So where are you funneling these people for them to get to a different section they can have a value conversation? So what I mean by this is, if you have an offer and you have the people you're selling to, where are you sending these people to? Are you sending them to a ClickFunnels website, or like a landing page that has your VSL, some text, and then a booking link? Are you sending them to, let's say, an Instagram profile, which also is a funnel, by the way, because the way that you structure these pages, this is actually a funnel if you think about it. So stuff like that, you need to take it into account. So obviously this is a funnel for Hassan, so it makes a lot of sense, but you need to figure out what your funnel is going to be, and your funnel is going to be dependent on the people you were serving. So this is why it's super important, because you want your funnel to be easily accessible and something that doesn't really have a lot of friction. Okay, that's just a rule of thumb with a funnel. I haven't really made an in-depth video about this, but I'll probably make one a bit later if you guys want to watch that. So now that you have that, the next thing you need is the client acquisition channel that is used to drive traffic to that funnel. So what I mean by this is, where is that market, where is that audience actually sitting that you can start driving traffic to? Because now you have the market, obviously the audience you are trying to solve the problem for, you have the offer, then you have the place you're sending them to. So where are you actually sending them from? Like, so it could be Facebook, it could be X or Twitter, whatever you guys want to call it, YouTube, which is a really good channel, IG, which is also a really good channel, which was the actual channel we were using for Hassan. Depending on what you're using, it's going to obviously impact the results, I would say. So you need to focus your attention in the place that your market is usually on. For Hassan, his market was usually on IG and YouTube, and also a little bit on Facebook as well. So that's where we focus a lot of our attention to. And I would recommend, like Hormozi recommends, like having one channel, one acquisition channel, but I would recommend having, especially when you're starting out where there's a lot of competition, I would recommend having one channel and then supporting channels specifically. So for example, the main channel for Hassan was IG, and IG, what he was doing, Instagram. And then supporting channels can be like YouTube funneling back to the funnel, or funneling back to IG, Facebook funneling back to IG. That's basically how you want to do it. Okay, so don't obviously go by the T. You can do whatever you want, but this is just my personal opinion. This is what we do for our clients. So yeah, so that's number 4. And now number 5, the sales process. So what this means is, how will you exchange in value for them to actually think it's worth booking a call, think it's worth actually buying. So now you've got the funnel, now you got the market, now you have the offer, next you have the funnel, and then you have where you're sending the traffic from to the funnel. And now people are hopping on the page, people are seeing the stuff. How are you going to start transacting value? Are you going to send them to another landing page that has your offer, that has everything in detail? Are you sending them to book a call? Are you sending them to email? Heck, are you even DM closing? Are you sending them back to Instagram or like Facebook, and then you're closing in the DMs from there? Depending on what you're doing, is going to impact obviously the buying power. But I'd recommend, for things as a rule of thumb, depending on how much you're selling, the more, I would say, interaction is needed. So if you're selling something that's like high ticket, I don't say anything from like 2-3k upwards, I would say you can consider it as high ticket. I would say you should probably be doing a Zoom call or like some sort of conversation, in a sense, like even DM closing. You can do DM closing as well too. But if you're selling something that's like $50, $100, you don't really need to do that. You can just send people to a landing page, or you can send them like emails and stuff that just try to get them to buy from there, because the copy does most of the convincing essentially. So the more expensive and more sophisticated the offer is, the more touch points you might need to actually be able to sell that thing. So that's just a general rule of thumb. So for Hassan, we were using Zoom because it was the easiest, and obviously he's pretty good at closing, so he knew what he was doing when it came to exchange of value with prospects that were interested in buying them services. Okay, next is the onboarding process. So what is very important is the onboarding process that you go through to start the program or service. So once you've actually paid for the damn thing, now you've paid for the product, how do you actually get into it? How do you access the stuff? Do people get email notifications as soon as they sign up, as soon as they pay an invoice? Do they get all that stuff sent to them? Do they get, for example, I don't know, do they get reminders? Do they get assigned the people that need to be worked for? Do they get access to the courses or programs straight away? If you're your onboarding process is super important, because this is going to be the first experience people are going to have when they paid a lot of money. They've paid a lot of money, they're kind of feeling some doubt, whatnot, they may be excited, and if stuff is not happening, it's like, it's a weird position to be in, because you don't want your clients to be in a position where they don't know what's happening. Like, you have to have a really good onboarding process, okay? So that's really important, and we also help some of our clients structure the fulfillment as well too, so that they get really positive feedbacks in the onboarding process. And then the delivery of the offer. So how are you actually delivering? So what does the service delivery look like? Is it one-on-one coaching? Is it group coaching? Is it a group coaching with a course? Is it group coaching with course material? Do you have action steps that they have to complete every single day? Depending on how much substance you have, it's going to dictate the amount of results you're going to get. And this is also going to be helpful for the last step, which I'm going to show you, which literally influences how well the system is going to work, okay? So what I mean by this is, you want to have something where it doesn't really require too much of your time, but at the same time, you can get your clients extreme amount of results. So what I mean by this is, implementing wherever you can, like templates, like, SOPs, and then obviously implementing, I think this is the biggest changer. If you have this, you will get really good results. Implementing customer success is probably one of the best things that you can do. Like, that's what we're implementing for Hassan right now, because obviously it's been going extremely well for him. If you don't implement customer success, it's just going to be extremely difficult, okay? And what I mean by this is, having people that actually personally reach out to them, check up on how they're going, make sure they have tasks, and then make sure that they actually do complete those tasks, because now you can get a little bit ballsy with how you can market and how you can position yourself, because you can actually get people results if you implement these types of things, okay? And then once you have that dialed in, the eighth part is how well you scale all of these components. So what this means is that, okay, if you find an acquisition channel that's working, how well can you scale it? How well can you add more fuel to the fire? Maybe if that's more ad spend, maybe if that's more content, maybe if that's more whatever. Sales process, how well can you scale that sales process? Is it something, for example, can you scale more DMs? Can you send more DMs in an hour? Can you have more Zoom calls in an hour? Can you have more closers so you can have more Zoom calls in an hour? Can you send people more emails? It's, how well can you, what is the ceiling of the components you're scaling? So for Hassan right now, he's implementing ads, and now we're going to start introducing the DM setter, where they're basically just going to come in and just respond to all of the DMs that he's getting completely inbound, and obviously followers as well too. And then eventually he's obviously going to need a closer as well too, so he's just going to get someone that's really good, and then he's obviously implementing customer success so they can get better results. So it's like, if you don't know what the next step is, you're going to get capped at a certain revenue, and it's not fun to be capped. It's literally the worst. So you need to know exactly what you're trying to do. And now the ninth path, which is basically, I would say, the biggest part, and this was probably when the revenue from making steady decent amount to jump, and this is feedback loops, creating cycles for scaling. I'll probably make an in-depth video about feedback loops, but essentially what this is if you do not have a feedback loop, and what this means is that your action will lead to a result, and that action and that result also leads to another action taking place. So what I mean by this is, let me give you a very simple example. If Hassan posts a win of one of the clients that signed for him, that will then encourage other people who are not in the program to be like, oh, these people are getting wins. What do they know that I don't know? I'm interested. And then when they sign for him and they start to get wins, he also posts them again. And then that that basically equates to more people seeing it, essentially. So what I mean by this is that when he posts something, when he posts a win of one of his clients, or when he makes a case study document, that will then basically help him increase the amount of clients he's getting. So the more clients he gets, the more case study he gets, the more clients he gets at the end of it. So it just becomes a loop, and it's literally just a cycle. So it becomes to a point where you just get so much social proof to the point that it just doesn't make sense. So the people that make ridiculous amounts of money, they've implemented feedback loops extremely well. Anytime a client gets a win, boom, reposted. Now more people see it and they're like, oh, this person was a similar situation, I'm interested as well too. And then it just keeps repeating. And that's how you create cycles for scaling as well too. And you don't only have to do this with customer success. You can implement feedback loops with your onboarding. You can implement feedback loops with your delivery. There's just so many things that you can implement that can just help you scale extremely fast. And it doesn't really cost you that much, especially if you know the systems, and especially if you know exactly what you're doing. So I hope this video was valuable, and if you feel like this is so much stuff to actually implement into your businesses, I can actually tell you a little bit about what I actually offer. So essentially what we do is we come into coaching businesses and we completely overhaul the marketing. So everything I just showed you right here, we're pretty much responsible for all of this as well too, in all of our other clients that we've been working with as well. So what I mean by this is that if you don't know what market you have to serve, and if you have just an audience of people but you just don't understand how you can actually, like, leverage that and get them to obviously buy your stuff, if you don't know how to make an offer, if you don't know how to create a funnel, if you don't know how to use a client acquisition channel, if you don't know how to build a sales process, if you don't know anything about delivery of the offer that you want to sell, but you just know you have something, or maybe you might even have something that you're selling already, but you just don't know how to market it. Like, you're stuck maybe in the acquisition phase, maybe you just can't get more people to see your stuff, maybe you're stuck in the sales process phase, maybe you're even stuck with delivery, maybe you're just getting all these clients, you can't handle them, and then they leave and then you have to find another one. Like, maybe you might be dealing with all of it. So if you feel like that's where you are right now, I would strongly urge you to actually book in a 15-minute discovery. And essentially what we're just doing here is just figuring out if it even makes sense for us to come in and work for you. There's no obligation to it. It's 15 minutes of your time, and if you feel like there's something that we can implement that could potentially help you scale past 30, 40, 50, whatever, then I would love to have a chat about it, and that'll be with me personally. So if you're interested in that, the first link in the description is going to take you to that page where you can just click that link and you can just schedule in that call. And apart from that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know your comments down below. Okay, peace